Before I start, though, I just like to describe some of the things that companies who are having meetings similar to yours are thinking about when they talk about and think about growth. And the first thing is that this economic recovery, most people think, will be a slow growth recovery. And that means that the people who lead their industries and who grow the fastest will be able to do at least three things. The first thing is to steal market share from their competition. And in the late 90s, most companies, the markets were growing so quickly that most companies could just grow along with the market and their business would be just fine, thank you. But this recovery is a bit different in the sense that, the economy is a lot slower. And so the benchmark for companies to grow is really, are you better than the competitor across town from you or across the province from you or to the south of you in the US? And can you steal business from them as a basis to grow? And that's a lot tougher bar to consider when you're thinking about growing your business. On the top, the problem though is that many companies who are presented with opportunities to become the low-cost producer, for example, or to have the best product and service quality, often view barriers that are insurmountable in achieving that goal. And I'll give you an example of Nestlé. Nestlé had a famous meeting of 17 of their country managers in 1999. And in Nestlé's organization, the country manager is the king. So if you have, some senior executive vice president from their headquarters and the country manager of Bangladesh or Zimbabwe sitting in a room, the country manager of Bangladesh or Zimbabwe will be the one they listen to, and the person from headquarters usually is not given the time of day. So the country manager in Nestlé was the king. But at this meeting of the 17 country managers, each of them brought a sample of their Kit Kat bar. That's the red one with the silver wrapping. And they each put them on a table. And what they found was, because the country manager is king in Nestlé, in order to be a really good country manager, you had to have your own manufacturing plant. And so when they looked at each of these Kit Kat bars, they found three things that were quite shocking. One is that the serving sizes varied by country. One was 17 grams, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And really, from the consumer standpoint, there's no difference. Hard to tell the difference between a 17-gram Kit Kat bar and a 22-gram Kit Kat bar. The second one was that the tin foil that wrapped the Kit Kat bar all came from 17 different suppliers. And on the back of the label, there were 6 different languages on each of the wrappers, but the total of the languages was 8. So in other words, they used a different combination of 6 different languages on the back of the wrapper. And so they realized that this country manager is king organizational philosophy was costing them huge amounts of money, because if they printed all 8 languages on the wrapper, they could save a lot of money in printing costs. If they used the same aluminum foil supplier, they could save a fortune by consolidating their volume and getting a lower price from their supplier. And if they made a 20-gram Kit Kat bar, they could make production runs that were a lot longer and have much more economies of scale. And also they could close 16 of the 17 factories and build one big one that was much more cost effective. And so by challenging the status quo thought at Nestlé that the country manager is king, and looking at this cost savings opportunity, they were able to keep their leadership position and make a lot more money in the process. So even if you think you are a low-cost producer, I would encourage you to challenge that thinking. There's a lot of, trust me, I'll be able to grow the business 9% next year, or trust me, I'll be able to grow the business 7%. I've always delivered for you in the past. And the level of rigor is usually not even close to that of a cost reduction initiative. And so the example we show here is of a company in the credit card business, but you can easily do it for your own business. And what we say is that you need to be equally rigorous in the way you implement growth opportunities and growth strategies as you are on cost reduction opportunities.